The women's basketball team steps up in a big way.
Meanwhile, the men's team takes a step down.
Thank you for joining us. Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam dunk! Oh, that's a poster.
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Zach Manville, joined by John Kispert. How are you doing, John?
Doing great. I'm excited to talk some sports. Yeah. Tonight, the Golden Eagles return to Pfizer Forum to face off against the Providence Friars. As the Golden Eagles look to bounce back from their tough loss to Villanova on Friday, our very own assistant sports producer, Jake Dale, gives us pregame previews from Pfizer Forum.
Hello and welcome back to Marquette Basketball Previews. I'm Jake Dale, here with Trevor Hilson, here at Pfizer Forum. We're here for Marquette versus Providence. Trevor, Marquette coming off a tough loss at Villanova. That team, we gave up 81 points to Villanova. How can they get better defensively tonight?
Yeah, I think Providence isn't really good with the ball in their hands. They turn it over a lot. Marquette forced 22 turnovers the last time these two teams played. So really it comes down to getting back to their identity. Create deflections, force mistakes and turnovers, and Marquette can come away with a win tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we saw the last time we were here at Pfizer Forum, a big win over Seton Hall. They looked really sound offensively earlier in the year, too, against Purdue, against Maryland, against a lot of the other teams. They looked sound offensively. Recently, not so much. How can they get back to their winning ways, Trevor?
You know, I think it's a matter of shots falling, but also I like Marquette's five-out offense. Let Cam Jones create, let him find his teammates, and also I think, too, Ben Gold needs to continue to attack the rim. I feel like the last couple of games, he's done a little bit better of a job of trying to create on the interior. If he can add a post move or two tonight, it could be interesting to see that dynamic play out.
For sure. Trevor, who's your standout player for tonight? Who do you think is going to come out with the Golden Eagles?
It's got to be the birthday boy, Cam Jones. Look for him to have a big night. He's the tone setter for this team on the offensive side of the ball. So I think he's going to have a good game on his birthday. We'll see what he does.
Absolutely. A big happy birthday to Cam Jones. We're here at Pfizer Forum again for Trevor Hilson, Jake Dale. Enjoy the game, Marquette.
Thanks so much, Jake.
At the half, Marquette is currently up 43-32.
After taking down the Cincinnati Bearcats, the women's lax team heads to Ann Arbor, where they face the number 8 ranked Michigan Wolverines.
Marquette opens up the scoring when senior midfielder strikes one in the net on a free position shot.
But the Wolverines grit their teeth and answer with 5 goals of their own to take the lead.
Sophomore midfielder Lauren Grady responds, but Michigan tallies 2 more goals before the buzzer.
The second quarter is an ugly one for the Golden Eagles, as Marquette is outscored 6-1, giving the Wolverines a 10-point lead heading into the half.
Things don't get much better in the third as Michigan shuts out Marquette in the period while adding on 4 more goals.
Senior attacker Meg Byerly goes on to score 2 goals in the fourth, but the Golden Eagles are dominated in the period.
The Wolverines hold down the fort and take the win 22-5.
Meg Byerly secures a hat trick with 3 goals in the game, giving her 15 goals on the year. After an impressive week, a midfielder finds herself earning Big East honors.
Senior Mindy Hannah Bodner earns a spot on the weekly Big East honor roll.
Bodner scored 4 points with 3 goals and an assist along with 4 draw controls versus Cincinnati, and also scores a goal and racks up 3 draw controls versus Michigan.
This is her second Big East honor on the year. The Marquette men's soccer team celebrated its rich history with their annual alumni match at Valley Fields. Marquette Wire's own John Kispert has the story.
College sports is not just about competition. It's also about building legacies that inspire future generations and keeps traditions alive. The Marquette men's soccer team celebrates their legacy with their yearly alumni match at Valley Fields, where former Golden Eagles return to the pitch and share some fun with the current Marquette team. The alumni match is set up with 4 teams, 3 of which are current players and the other is comprised of alumni. Each team plays each other at least once, and depending on which team plays the best, there's a final championship game. While the current players may be in better shape and currently more active in the sport, the alumni were not backing down and display why they were once collegiate soccer players as well. However, the current players do not take it easy on the alumni, displaying why they are the current faces of Marquette men's soccer. While all the games are pretty competitive, second-year head coach David Korn sees this tradition as more than just a friendly competition.
We really appreciate all the support for the alumni. It's awesome to have a day like this. It's pretty unique to be a program that's 60 years old, so to have so many different generations that have been Marquette soccer players, we realize the chain that connects every single year of our program, and feel really lucky to have so many that live in the area or have traveled back to be able to spend time with us at the alumni game.
With the past, present, and future of Marquette men's soccer coming together to play some friendly games, the real highlights of the alumni match are the relationships that are built and the shared appreciation for Marquette's men's soccer program. Regardless of which of the four teams won, this year's alumni match is a win for Marquette men's soccer. I'm John Kispert, Marquette Wire Sports.
The women's basketball team travels to the nation's capital to challenge the Georgetown Hoyas.
Marquette starts off the action on a 10-2 run, taking the early lead.
The Hoyas refuse to stay quiet and close out the quarter by bringing the game within 4.
For the next 2 quarters, Georgetown capitalizes and get only a single point behind Marquette.
In the fourth quarter, the Hoyas finally take the lead, but the Golden Eagles have other plans.
Marquette channels their inner Mamba mentality and clamps down on defense.
Marquette ends the last 6 minutes without allowing a field goal and ultimately earned the dub, winning 55-50 over the Hoyas.
Junior guard Jaden Mason ties her career high. She scores 18 points on 53% from the field.
Sophomore guard Hallie Weiss also puts up a double-double in the win, her 6th of the season.
Coming up, does Shaka extend his win streak versus Villanova? Plus, don't forget about our weekly award winners. So don't go anywhere, as we'll be right back after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Zach Pomainville.
And I'm John Kispert. On Friday night, Marquette men's basketball team headed to Villanova to face off against the Wildcats in their second matchup of the year.
The first time these two teams faced this year, the Golden Eagles had the upper hand all game, securing a 13-point win at Pfizer Forum.
This time around, the road was very unforgiving for the Golden Eagles.
Villanova started the game scorching hot from beyond the arc, shooting an insane 12 for 15 from 3 in the first half.
This shooting performance, powered by Jameer Brickus and Jordan Dumont, gave the Wildcats a 13-point lead going into halftime.
The Wildcats carried the momentum throughout the final buzzer, handing the Golden Eagles their 5th Big East loss on the year and the first loss to Villanova in the Shaka Smart era.
Despite the loss, Zay Lowry led the way for Marquette, putting up a season-high 25 points and 8 rebounds on 90% shooting.
Shaka Smart and his Golden Eagles look to bounce back from this disappointing loss and build some much-needed momentum as March nears.
After the 1-1 week, the men find themselves dropping in the latest AP poll once again. This time, they slot into 21 in the latest ranking. This comes after the loss to the Villanova Wildcats in Philadelphia. This is the team's lowest ranking of the season. The men's lacrosse team faces off against Cleveland State, looking to even out their record on the season. The Golden Eagles open up the scoring bracket in the first 5 minutes of the game with a goal by sophomore Carson Brandt. The Golden Eagles follow up with another goal, but it doesn't take long for Cleveland to strike back.
Cleveland State goes on a 3-0 run to end their first quarter to lead the game 3-2. The Golden Eagles come out flying in the second quarter, immediately scoring back-to-back goals, snatching the lead from Cleveland.
Only allowing 1 goal in the second quarter, Marquette dominates the second quarter, heading into the half 6-4.
But with the absolute snipe, Cleveland State looks to garner off of a comeback.
But for the remainder of the second half, the Golden Eagles would get goal after goal after goal.
Marquette would go on to win the game 15-7 with Carson Brandt leading the charge with 3 goals and 2 assists.
Following the win, 2 players of the team were selected to this week's Big East honors.
Noah Snyder earns Big East Freshman of the Week after posting his first 5 points of his career with a hat trick and 2 assists.
And Nolan Rappis earns a spot on the Big East Weekly Honor Roll as he led the team's offense with 6 points, 4 assists, 2 goals. And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the GSR Weekly Awards. Starting off with our team of the week, the women's basketball team gets 2 massive Big East wins. They dominate against Providence and show resilience in the close win over Georgetown. Coach Consegra's culture is real. Moving on to our MVP of the week, where Meg Byerly takes the honor. The senior attacker is picking up right where she left off last season with a hat trick in the last 2 games to go along with 2 assists for Cincinnati. She's up to 17 points in 4 games. Our rising star of the week is none other than Nolan Rappis of the men's lacrosse team. The senior attacker may be a senior, but earns the honor after tallying 2 goals and 4 assists in this week. The senior attacker leads the team in points with 18 and has stepped up big time. Rappis had only 16 points in 19 career games prior to the season. And finally, our 6th man of the week goes to Zay Lowry of the men's basketball team. Lowry is one of the few bright spots on the team this week with 25 points off the bench for the Golden Eagles. The second-year breakout is here.
And coming up this week in athletics, we look forward to a lot of exciting games.
The men's basketball team starts off Marquette Athletics this week with a home game tonight at Pfizer Forum against Providence.
On Thursday night, the women's basketball team are set to face off against Xavier for a home game at the Al McGuire Center.
On to Friday night, the Golden Eagles face off against the Purple Eagles with the women's lacrosse team hosting Niagara for a match at Valley Fields.
Now on to the weekend, the men's lacrosse team travels all the way to Cambridge for a match against Harvard Saturday afternoon. Later on Saturday, the men's basketball team travel all the way to Washington, D.C., home state, to take on the Georgetown Hoyas.
On to Sunday, the women's basketball team faces off against Paige Beckers and the Huskies for an away game at UConn.
And this week of Marquette Athletics is capped off Sunday afternoon, where the men's soccer team hosts the University of Indianapolis for their first spring match of the year. Coming up in other sports, how will Wembanyama injury affect the Spurs? Plus, who's the best team in college basketball? Find out after the break.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
And welcome back to Studio 7 as we discuss the latest news in professional and collegiate sports. Joining me on the panel tonight is John Kispert. Let's get started. Rising superstar Victor Wembanyama is now reported out for the remainder of the season due to a blood clot in his right shoulder, and legendary coach Pop is not expected to return this season. What does this mean for the future of the Spurs' potential dynasty?
So I want to start it off saying I think the Spurs are fine. This blood clot actually happened to Brandon Ingram in 2019 when he was with the Lakers, and he ended up fine. So I'm optimistic. Wemby will be back. The Spurs dynasty is not over. But even if Coach Pop retires, they pick their new coach to come back, and they didn't have to trade any of their young assets for De'Aaron Fox. They still have a lot of young guys who can compete for the team. So I think regardless, they have a bunch of first-round picks. They have all their future first and second round picks. They have to give any up. I think they're set even if Wemby is out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously it would be a major loss if they were to lose him going forward. Losing him for the rest of the year, it sucks. But at the same time, they're still not in the they're not in the playoffs. They weren't in there when he was there. They have a potential to have 2 top 10 picks because they own the Hawks pick. 2 lottery picks would be nice. Very helpful in rebuilding that roster. It really sucks that the injury bug is happening, but like you said with Brandon Ingram, doesn't have to mean it's going to be gone forever. Yeah. With March slowly approaching, the potential number 1 pick seeds are beginning to come to light. Out of all the top teams right now, who is the best team in the country?
Okay, I'm going to throw you a curveball right here, Zach. I'm saying Houston. Houston has been a consistently great team the last 5-6 years with Coach Kelvin Sampson proving why he's one of the best in the nation. They have a lot of experience on their team, a lot of depth, a lot of athletic guys, play great defense. I think against any team in the country, they have the experience and the coaching to beat them out. Yeah,
I definitely like their experience. They've been a great team like this for a long time. The same can be said about Auburn and Duke. Kentucky even. I mean, Kentucky's not what it was, but they're still pretty decent. But I would say the best team right now is definitely Florida. They've beaten 2 number 1 seeds. They've gone 2-0 against Tennessee early in January, and they beat them by 30. So kind of hard to space against that. They also did beat the number 1 seed currently, Auburn, earlier by 9. They're a fantastic team. They're 3rd in rebounds. They have real potential to go do something great this year. Whether that'll be make a national championship, win the national championship, it's kind of hard to see right now because March Madness is March Madness, and that's kind of what happens. But actually, curving to March Madness, who would be your kind of sleeper pick or underdog to take?
So I've called this since winter break when we're watching the winter tournaments. I think Memphis has a lot of potential to make a deep playoff run, considering we've seen them compete with the best teams in the country and what they can do. And I think Penny Hardaway does a great job every year. They at least win 1 or 2 games in the tournament. I think this is the year where he has all the right guys with 3 senior leader scorers. where he can make a deep playoff run, potentially a Final Four, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to take one from Maryland. That's where I'm from, and they're looking fantastic right now. They had kind of a slow start to the start of the year, but since then, they're 9th overall in points per game out of everyone in college basketball. Their margin of victory is 5th best. I think it's like 16.4. That's how much they win by. They have a bunch of elite scorers who are freshmen, seniors. I really see that if anyone has the potential to do it, it's a team like Maryland, because they have enormous size and because of how they're constructed, just with freshmen taking everything from the seniors and just making it work all together.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Well, in the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals have an interesting choice this season. 3 prominent members of the team are all in need of a new deal. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and of course, Trey Hendrickson are all due contracts. The Bengals won't be able to bring back all 3, so who should be prioritized?
I think it's pretty clear the problem is the offensive line. I think if you're going to have to give up someone, I think, unfortunately, T. Higgins might have to go. I think they should prioritize other things, and I think Joe Burrow's proven that he doesn't need great receivers. He's just that good. He can deal with what he needs is more space, and I think they should focus more on the offensive line and probably have to let go of T. Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that your offensive line point is very true. I mean, their offensive line was not very good this last year. It was one of the worst in pressure rates that Joe Burrow's had throughout his career, and he's had pretty awful O-lines his entire career. What I would say, though, is I would keep T. Higgins instead. The chemistry between the 3 of them, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, is unparalleled with any other team in the league. You cannot stop those 3. And when you talk about defense, we all say defense wins championships, and that's been a saying for 30 years. But that's the thing, is the Bengals have had slow starts at the start of the year every year for the last 5 years. And because of that, it's always been their defense that's let them down when that happens. What they need to do is get off to a fresh start this year and start early and start hitting and try to figure out the defensive later. So what I would do if I was the Bengals, I would sign T. Higgins, sign Jamar Chase, of course. Everyone's going to say sign him. But trade Hendrickson, try to get a high pick. Maybe you get a first rounder, late first rounder. Maybe you get a second, maybe you get a third and a fourth or something. I mean, I don't know. But I would you have your offense right now. Focus on keeping that offense together and figure out the defense later. How would you say the Bengals' defense has affected them?
I think it's rough. I think they've lost a lot of close games because when it comes to late fourth quarter, they fall. Their defense can't withstand. So as much as Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins are scoring touchdowns, I just think their defense is the reason that they can't win these close games.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, their defense they can't put anyone away. This whole year they won because they were scoring, because they got through. But at the same time, they had a few very good free agent pickups the last season. Geno Stone turned out to be they paid top dollar for him in free agency last year. Didn't turn out so well. Hopefully their new defensive coordinator can help them. Thank you for the great discussion. We're out of time. Please tune in next week for all the coverage of Marquette sports and more. I'm Zach Pomainville. Good night, Marquette.